Hey, thank you so much for tuning in to Instrumental Intel. I am your host, music producer, Chick with Beats, and I'm glad that you've tuned in today. I got another show lined up for you that's got some music industry news highlights, beats by me for your inspiration, and later my special guest, Deidre D.S.Sense Smith, will be joining me. We're going to talk about Detroit, hip-hop culture, and academia. It's going to be a great time. So before I go ahead and drop the first beat, as usual, I gotta give a shout out to my home station, Grander Radio out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. And with that, let's go. back with the Music Biz Brief. First up, Amazon Music has followed Spotify's lead by bundling audiobooks with its premium subscriptions, offering one audiobook per month through Audible for US, UK, and Canadian subscribers. Unlike Spotify, which faced backlash and a lawsuit for cutting songwriter royalties with its bundling move, Amazon's approach has been praised by the National Music Publishers Association, or the NMPA for short, who's expressed optimism, highlighting Amazon's collaboration with music creators to avoid reducing royalties. Meanwhile, Spotify continues to defend itself against the Mechanical Licensing Collective's lawsuit, with potential royalty impacts estimated at $150 million annually if the case is successful. Speaking of Spotify, their stock hit a record $477.50 last week, giving the company a $92 billion market cap, before settling at $458.32. Co-founder and CEO Daniel Ek cashed out $35.8 million by selling 75,000 shares, adding to the $376.3 million he sold just since last summer. Co-founder Martin Lawrenson also made headlines selling shares worth $383.75 million through his holding company. Spotify is on track for its first ever profitable year, with a projected $1.5 billion of operating profit for 2024, and its premium subscriber base now exceeds 252 million, up 12% year over year. And of course, that's kind of easy to do when you only have to pay the artists who support the platform fractions of a penny per stream. Next up, the UK's music industry is at a tipping point, facing increasing competition from global markets and the risk of unregulated AI use, according to UK Music. While the sector contributed a record £7.6 billion, which is about $9.6 billion, to the economy in 2023, rising financial pressures on grassroots venues and artists, plus the threat of AI bypassing copyright protections, pose significant risks. Independent artists need to stay alert to these issues and try to support grassroots venues to help ensure future growth. Also, YouTube's testing a new AI tool for Shorts creators to remix or quote-unquote restyle official songs. As part of its ongoing Dream Track experiment, the feature lets select users describe a new genre or mood for eligible tracks. The AI then generates a 30-second customized version while preserving the original vocals and lyrics. Creators in the test will see the original song credited, with clear labels showing AI involvement. In other news, TikTok has renewed its partnership with the International Copyright Enterprise, or ICE for short, ensuring continued access to ICE's catalog of over 54 million works from 330,000 rights holders. The deal streamlines royalty payments for songwriters whose music is used on the platform. TikTok highlights the partnership's role in music discovery and strategic innovation, supporting creators globally. This announcement coincides with TikTok's first TikTok for Songwriters event in London, showcasing its commitment to empowering songwriters in the evolving music industry. And now, for the first time, U.S. recording artists will receive neighboring rights royalties from South Africa under a new agreement between Sound Exchange and Sampra. Retroactive to 2022, the deal ensures performers, including featured artists, studio musicians, and backup singers, are compensated when their music plays in either country. This agreement expands Sampra's global network and reflects Sound Exchange's ongoing advocacy for 470,000 creators worldwide. And finally, Warner Music Group reported $1.63 billion in fourth quarter revenue, up 4% year over year, driven by gains in recorded music across licensing, digital, and physical formats. However, net income dropped 69% to $48 million, attributed to higher interest expenses and currency impacts on euro-denominated debt. Streaming revenue rose 1% to $1.04 billion, fueled by strong releases and global subscriber growth. The company continues to focus on tech innovation, including AI, to expand market reach and support artists like Bruno Mars and more of their big stars. Alright, that's a wrap for the Music Biz Brief. I'm going to take a quick pause for the cause, and then I'll be back with my special guest, Deidre D.S.Sense. It's going to be a great time, so make sure you keep it locked. Hey, I'm a chick with beats, multi-genre music producer and strategist to indie artists and labels. Visit achickwithbeats.com for resources for artists and instrumentals in various genres available for songs, vlogs, blogs, podcasts, themes, TV, film, commercials, and more. Once again, that's achickwithbeats.com. That's ACHICKWITBEATZ.com. Let's make something happen. Thank you so much for tuning in to Instrumental Intel. I am your host, music producer, Chick with Beats, and I'm excited, thrilled, and delighted to say that I have in the virtual building with me today. I mean, what doesn't she do? She's an artist, she's a writer, she's an educator, a poet, lyricist, and like everything. I'm sure I'm probably leaving some stuff out too. But I have Deidre D.S.Sense Smith. And you know what? I just want to thank you right off the top for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and speak with me. I appreciate it. I know the listeners will appreciate it as well. But if you could kind of give them a little bit of background as to who you are and how you got involved with everything that you do.
Absolutely. First off, thank you for having me back. It was such a joy last time. I appreciate your enthusiasm and your willingness to have me on. So thank you again. My name is Deidre D.S.Sense Smith. I am a lecturer for the School of Music, Theater, and Dance for U of M. I'm also a coach and ambassador with the State Department and Next Level program formally. And I facilitate a workshop that is actually the course of my class at U of M called SIMMIT, Speak Your Mind, Mind Your Speech, Recognize and Empowering Your Words. And so I take that workshop and I teach it in elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, organizations, colleges, what have you. Wherever I'm beckoned, I answer the call and I educate through art. And so I myself am an MC, sometimes a vocalist, but don't sing as well or as much as I used to. And I'm also a songwriter and recently an author of a children's book that should be released pretty soon.
That's so amazing.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I think that's going to be, for me, the highlight of my career. Wow. But yes, I'm so excited about that. But I'm a Detroit girl, East Side, and I reside on the West Side now. I believe in investing into the city of Detroit, so I'm big on community and sewing back into the city of Detroit the way that it's given to me. And I'm all about amplifying the citizens with my Detroit Everything initiative. And so I'm kind of like an around the way girl.
I love it. So, okay, right off the top, all my Detroit Everything, the initiative is powerful. I see it all across my social media platforms. So, kudos to you for that. But you did say you want to sew back into the city the way it's sewed into you. How do you think that Detroit, if you could quantify it or qualify it with words, how would you say Detroit has shaped your artistry?
I think that the landscaping alone does something to me. Just to have grown up in a neighborhood that I did on the East Side and saw just intergenerational interactions with community members and citizens alike. I remember seeing both the beauty and the ugly within the city of Detroit, human nature at its best and worst. And I was always able to draw upon that by just, first acknowledging my own faults and my own successes and all those things that come with age and experience and just living life. And Detroit has a way of, I always say it has the hustle and bustle of a big city, but then it quiets down like a countryside at night. And so you have all of this experience and wonderment to take on in a day, and even into the evening. But then late at night into the wee hours of the morning, you have peace, you have solace, you have calm, and you have a time to reflect. No matter your situation within the city, it has a grace that allows you to be still and to be quiet. And I don't think many people recognize how blessed we are in the city of Detroit to have that. Most major cities that hustle and bustle, they don't stop hustling and bustle. They don't rest. But here in Detroit, we can get our hustle on, we can get our grind on, be on our Detroit everything, and then at the end of the day, we can rest our heads and, you know, think about, you know, what we've accomplished or what we could do better in the quietness and the stillness of that calm.
Wow.
And so that's really shaped the way that I approach my artistry. Even my projects, you can hear them. There's some such genre hopping and such mutable moods throughout my projects. You hear me go from street, almost gangster rap, underground rap, more conscious rap, some singing, neo soul or R&B tinges to it, even some rock. And all those things are just indicative of the experiences that I've had in the city, in the places that I've been, and shoulders that I've been able to, you know, rub against. And so the city has definitely, if we weren't able to quantify it and give it some kind of a weight, it holds a lot of weight just being here. And I think it's something in the air about Detroit that just, if you don't think you're an artist, you can become one, just haphazardly, almost just stumble into some artistry. That's just the air that it has, you know.
You know, that's hilarious. Yeah, I actually experienced that my first time performing there. It might have been my third time performing ever. And I would not call myself an artist. But by the time I got off that stage, the way that I was embraced and encouraged, I started saying that, like, okay, yeah, I can actually. So, yeah, but I mean, everything that you just said about that was so beautifully poetic. I mean, wow. You know, for it to have that kind of impact and for you to recognize exactly how it's kind of shaped who you are and what you do, I think is a wonderful thing. You know, with all the different things that you've got going on in education, you've mentioned, you know, being able to stand on the people, you know, before you, like your elders and everything. Is that part of the reason why you take so much time into giving back and educating the youth?
Yes. My love for agriculture that I have to get back to came from my grandfather and from my science teacher, Miss Gilbert, who passed many years ago now. But just from home into the classroom, we had very loving adults and guardians and parents, you know, teachers that were instrumental and invested into our well-being and into our education. And I'm so thankful because they knew that education existed outside of the classroom first and foremost. And so even with Miss Gilbert, she would teach us inside of the classroom, but often take us outside of the building, out of the school building, to actually demonstrate what we had just learned. And even still today, a couple of the trees that we planted are still up. The school has since closed and been boarded up and gutted and everything, but the trees are still there. And it's you know, that means a lot to me. Those were planted in the mid 90s, you know. And I feel good about being able to give back and being at an age, I'm 41 now, and I'm being at an age where I always wanted to be this age. I always wanted to be 30. And then I said, I always want to be 45. And now I can't wait to get 75 and all those things. Like, I want all of my years because I want all of the wisdom that comes with it, all of the nurturing spirit that comes with it. And in my classroom, I teach more about life outside of it than I do the curriculum itself sometimes. And I really try to drive home the fact that education is, you know, a live thing. It really is. I mean, we can get our degrees and we do have them. But at the end of the day, nobody says, she was so awesome. She was so degreed. They might mention, you know, you were, you know, degreed in this and that, whatever, when, you know, everything is said and done. But for the most part, they say, she's so funny, or he was so warm. He was so giving, so intelligent this way. And it's always far away from what you think that they would praise you for. And so when I'm in the classroom, I try to be all of the things that are valued outside of the curriculum and outside of academia. And I try to tell my students that they are worth way more than the grade that they're going to get in class too. Mm. And so I think in doing that, I try to honor the lessons taught to me, the way that they were taught to me, and who taught me those. Mm. And I think that will leave a better impact and a more lasting impact than the A's that students will get.
Yeah.
And so, I just said, I told a friend last week, I was coming home from class, and I posted a video of some students that spotted me on campus. One currently enrolled in one that was last year's, student. And to have that embrace and that excitement on their faces still, I mean, we're at the end of the semester now. And then the gentleman who was on the film, it's been a year. And to have that smile on his face still, and to get those embraces, I always wanted to be like the favorite teacher. Like, how lucky am I? Yeah. Now I get to feel what my teachers, I hope that they felt from me, those that were my favorite. That's a great feeling. That's a great feeling. And so, I pride myself on taking those warm, fuzzy, but also instructive and directive, lessons, and applying them to the way that I teach. Mm-hmm. And I think it's been okay for me. It's very real. It's very organic.
That's what's up. But yeah, especially if you're getting embraces at the end of the year, that lets you know you're doing something right, for sure.
I hope so. I really do.
So if we could maybe talk a little bit about, I think it's kind of like twofold to be able to kind of get in the creative headspace to create for yourself, but also even to educate others in how to get into their creative process. Can you walk us through that a little bit and maybe talk about what that's like for you and how you kind of get into both modes, either to teach the creative process or when you're about to create something?
Mm-hmm. So once again, I draw up on that quiet stillness. Mm. And then I'll hear a melody first in my mind. Mm. And I'll kind of hum that melody, and then I'll start to create, like, it's very staccato, my cadence first. Even though I hear this like very sequential and very smooth melody, I'm kind of like non-linear and a little all over the place while I'm doing a staccato like pattern to this melody, because I know that I'm going to insert those words in those, kind of scat like cadences that I'm doing right now, like da-da-da. Yeah. And I'm doing something, and I rock. I have this rock that I've been doing since I was a baby girl, and I rock back and forth, and it's like my internal metronome. I have about a speed of 60 BPM. I always say that's my natural internal rhythm, 60 BPM, and so I rock at that rhythm, even when I'm doing something a little bit more fast paced in my mind. But that's my internal metronome, and then I compose that way. I see what comes out. And as far as the class, how I instruct students in their creative processes, I give them history first and foremost, because of the course that I teach, which is rap history and songwriting for the purpose of performance, live performance. Mm. And so with Simmons, I take you all the way from, the origins of hip hop and the influence that the states have had with hip hop and how it's become ubiquitous. And I talk about the cohesion between, West African griots to the, MCs of America. And I talk about the, unassuming kind of bridge with Europe that kind of helps to be the glue between the States and Africa to hip hop. So I take them through that, and I talk about the lived experience of African Americans that were actually doing hip hop, but they hadn't been credited for creating it. Like I showed them the Jubilaires, which is a very popular thing to do now in hip hop courses. But way back when, you know, I've talked about the Jubilaires. I'll talk about Ella Fitzgerald and her scatting ability and how she was so in the pocket, and she go from singing, you know, this beautiful songs and ballads to scatting, and her rhythm was very reminiscent of early rap for me.
Yeah.
You know, and I would talk about how hip hop has this date on it as being 50 years old, but I can take you back at least 75 years before that even. So we talk about that. I take them through that because I have a very mixed demographic in my course. The only thing that is a commonality is maybe age, young adults, but from various backgrounds and races and cultures. And I want them to know that it's just not enough to come in the classroom and be ready to rap. Why are we rapping? I tell them about the principles and the elements of hip hop. I tell them why they're necessary. I let them know that this is first and foremost a genre of visibility for those that are oppressed or marginalized. And so once they get that down, they understand the soul of it all. They understand the purpose of it all. They become more intentional. And then I work with their confidence. So having known what you know, I made them write. 25 to 30 minutes out of the class, you have to write a piece. And that's not a lot of time.
No.
So your main focus is really tapping into yourself and bringing forth something that you maybe never thought you could bring forth. I get a lot of students that say, you know, I'm not an artist. I'm certainly not a rapper. I'm not a poet. I'm not this. And granted, they might not be. Some of them are neuroscientists, and some of them are first string violinists and things of that nature. And some of them just, they haven't quite determined what they'll major in yet. And they come in and they write, and we write for a few months. And then I have them for their do a final live piece of an original work. And the purpose of all of that workshopping, if you will, is to show them the progress of their confidence. On the last day of class, I have them read their week 1 piece, and then I have them perform their final live performance piece. And then as a group, we critique their Genesis and their Exodus. And my hope is that you will not leave this class the way that you came in here. Because if you leave it the way that you came in here, well, we wasted a lot of time. But there's never been a time when anybody has left the way they came. The nerves are non-existent. The smile is brighter and bigger. The sense of community in the class is further established. They actually have such a camaraderie and a sense of community in the class once we finished that some of them have gone on to do collaborative works together. And these are people that you might not have known from Adam. Maybe you had class with them before, but you never spoke to them. But by the time you finish my course, you have a sense of community and you have an original work. And not only that, but you have a whole catalog of work to draw from. Wow. Should you desire to continue. So I do that approach in regards to the classroom, and it's not far from what I do for myself, but I haven't had to do that for myself since I was a younger woman. Now, as an older woman who isn't necessarily striving for what I thought success was as a younger woman, but I've shifted it to the success of my students. It means something else to me now, so I don't have the same vigor as I once did, but I have the same intentionality. But it's not for standing for me.
Wow, that is phenomenal. Man, I feel like you just dropped so many gems in a short amount of time right there. Especially mentioning how, you know, okay, you're not coming in here just to rap to be rapping, but to explain why and to give them a purpose behind it. I feel like that's more of that is needed today, I would say. If you check anything online that might be hip hop related, you can basically see like a generational divide right there. Oh, nowadays this, that, and the other, and there's a lot of complaining about like, oh, they don't know good music. Well, you haven't showed it to them. Like who's supposed to teach them if yeah. So I love the fact that that you can connect the past with the present, and to have people not rapping just to be rapping, but to be intentional behind it, I think is a beautiful thing. And yeah, I just wish there were more educators like you doing what you're doing. That's phenomenal, and I commend you for that. Hats off to you for sure.
Thank you. I like to say that I think there's a burgeoning group of educators, hip hop educators, that are finally being welcomed into academia at a higher level than they had before. And I say that actually with a little irritation, because if you commercially accredit 50 years to hip hop, why are we on first generation educators?
Oh, yeah. That's an excellent point.
Yes. Yeah. There's been generations, a couple of generations now, that have grown up on it, that have been taught through it.
Yeah.
And we're just now seeing hip hop educators.
Right.
Being called. Now we might have been able to flip, some hip hop things into our curriculums before as younger adults and being influenced like we were, but to actually legitimize it, quote unquote, legitimize it through, having tenures at universities and, things of that nature. That's a travesty to me.
It is, because I believe, and I hope I'm not misquoting that time frame, but even Jay Rawls, I think he's only been teaching hip hop at Ohio State like for a few years by comparison. Mm-hmm. Like even if you look at what he's done throughout his career, like you said, why now? Why is it taking this long? But yeah, I mean, kudos to you and the other ones out there doing what they do. Because it's definitely needed. And considering how music's been kind of stripped from, some of the elementary schools and all that stuff, they don't really have the exposure that a lot of us had the opportunity to have. So yeah, I think what you're doing is phenomenal. It's important. It's needed, to kind of keep good music going. Of course, it's supposed to change. It's going to grow. But yeah, you still need to have that foundation there, because I believe that's why a lot of the golden era hip hop sounded so good, is because a lot of it sampled from previous eras. You know what I mean? So like we still kind of had that. Yeah. So yeah, kudos to you for what you're doing. 2024 is almost out of here, but you mentioned you got the book coming. Are there any other projects? I'm not saying that you got to spill the whole tea, you don't have to give away the secret sauce, but is there anything we should be looking out for from you in the next coming year?
Yeah, absolutely. Another project I've been working on, and let me tell you, when I got that beat from you, honey, please. I laid that song out. I laid that song out immediately. It's recorded.
Oh my goodness. Yay.
It's so nice. It's so, oh my goodness. I love it so much. I got to let you hear it.
All right.
So that's going to be on the next project. And it's going to be real chill. I really, I have a lot of great songs recorded. I just don't see where there will be, a cohesiveness for the project just yet, but the music is there. So I think I have a few more songs to record, and then I want to envision the pacing of a project and see what songs are worthy. Because right now I'm like really, I'm rapping my ass off on some stuff. I'm being very laid back intentionally on some things and not being as lyrically dense. I'm letting it breathe. So there's a lot of variety, and there always is with my projects, but for whatever reason, I don't feel like this one is quite ready. It's not quite what I like things to be like yet, but I have some great projects. It's almost like I describe like this. It's almost like I have these great songs recorded, and they're like great for if somebody were to call and say, "Hey D, you want to be on a compilation?" Sure thing, I got something for you. You know, like it's not like that. But what does it make sense as a project? You know, as a whole, is it cohesive enough? So, I have to go back and listen to some things and see what I like and pick some things apart. Maybe re-record some things if the mood fits. And yeah, we'll see. But definitely new music, and definitely the children's book. And that was actually gonna get sent to the presses last night. I found a faux pas in there, so I had to get that cleaned up really quick, and hopefully I'll get it to the presses tonight or tomorrow at the latest. But yeah, so you can expect that. You can always expect me to be at you know, any place that calls me, any university or any organization or school that calls me to teach Simmons, once again, at Speak Your Mind, Mind Your Speech, Recognizing and Empowering Your Words, which is the workshop and course that I teach. And also, I'll still be doing my cultural ambassador work wherever anyone calls me in regards to that. As a global citizen of hip hop, I'm always ready to link up with other global citizens of hip hop and rock out on this ubiquitous vibe, you know. So just yeah, it's no telling with me. I'm so full of ideas and so full of action. I have so many things in the air at once. I think I said this last time. I say it often. I want to exhaust every talent, skill, and idea that is worth bringing into the light before I leave up out of here. I want to be able to say, God, I exhausted everything you blessed me with. Mm. And I hope to have done it in a way that, you know, is approving of them. Yeah. But I want to exhaust everything. So I'm constantly coming up with ideas for friends and proposals. I just did a proposal draft last night. I just do it on a whim, and I just compose these different proposals of ideas where I think programming should be and who should run it. And then I run it past friends who I think will fit or benefit from it. I connect people with people that I think could benefit from each other. So I want to exhaust everything before I leave up out of here. So next year, I hope to do things bigger and better. And I hope to have more partnerships moving forward. I plan to be a very lucrative woman, honey.
I love it. I love it. Well, you know, again, I just want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule and everything that you're doing right now. So yeah, I really feel special that you came on the show, and I really hope, especially with all the things you got going, that we could find some time for you to come back and keep us updated on what you got going. You know, while we still have these connections, you know, before we get all big and blow up, and yeah, you know. But yeah,
one thing's for certain, two things for sure is if we vibe and it's good, the spirit's good there. The Holy Spirit prompt me to be there, I'm gonna be there.
Love it.
I don't care how big I get. Like, it's always Detroit for me. Y'all always gonna find me somewhere loitering.
I love it.
Loitering on these Detroit streets and stuff, and you know, going about my business in my Nike slides, shopping or something. You know, I'm on the way. I'm gonna be here.
All right, that's what's up. So yeah, before we go ahead and close out, I want to make sure that the people know where to follow you and keep up with what you got going. And also, if there's any other shout outs that you need to give or want to give, you can do that now too.
Yeah, check me out. Put in hashtag on my Detroit everything. Also check out D.S.Sense on Instagram. That's DSSENSE. Facebook, Deidre D.S.Sense Smith. And also on Facebook, D.S.Sense. That's D.S.SENSE. On YouTube, catch up on some of my music, some of my latest music on YouTube. And then I think still on Bandcamp, that's some of my older works. Check that out. And yeah, I'm everywhere. And as far as academia, check out Simmons Ideas with a Beat at U of M for the School of Music, Theater, and Dance. And then also check out some stuff with Global Ties Detroit. Check out some things with Alumni Ties. Those are some places that I've sojourned through my cultural ambassadorships. And yeah, check out anything. Like I'm on there goofing off, or I take you from one extreme to the next. I'm either being incredibly goofy, incredibly insightful, spiritual, or just incredibly ratchet. Who knows? Just check it out.
It's about
You know,
diversity.
you get all. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So check me out, and then get in touch. Like if you know, you feel like I can collab with you on something, and it's you know, good, and I'll check it out.
Okay, that's what's up. So yeah, once again, thank you so much. I really hope to have you back on again soon. And yeah, just appreciate you sharing your wisdom, knowledge, and your story. I feel inspired. I'm sure the listeners do too. So yeah, I really, really appreciate you.
I really appreciate you too, and you keep doing what you're doing, and send me some stuff you think I might like. I'm ready to buy some more beats.
All right.
So yeah, whatever you got going on, whatever you're working on, think something might suit me, let me hear it.
All right,
maybe it come up, maybe it'll be on the next album. But you already got one on the next project, so hey.
That's what's up. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. All right, that's a wrap for this episode of Instrumental Intel. I've been your host, music producer, Chick with Beats. And once again, I'd like to thank you for tuning in. I'd like to thank my special guest, Deidre D.S.Sense Smith, for joining me and sharing all her knowledge and wisdom. And I'd like to thank my home station, Grander Radio, out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. I'm already excited to be returning to you next week. I've got more goodness lined up for you, so make sure that you come back. Till then, you know where to find me. Tune in, tell a friend. I'll see you then. Peace.